Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to share my recipe for these perfectly spiced soft ginger molasses cookies. A couple of things that I love about these cookies that I want to highlight for you guys is number one, you do not need any butter in order to make this recipe. Number two, they are not greasy. So many times when you pick up a cookie, you can see lots of grease left on your fingers, and these do not cause that. And because of this, I find that they are a lot easier to digest. Number three, they are filling and satiating without causing a heavy feeling in your stomach, which I find to just be very unpleasant. So I love to eat these as a mid-afternoon snack or as, of course, a dessert. Number four, they are nice and soft. I love a soft, moist cookie. And lastly, number five, they are incredibly easy to put together. They also store really well in the freezer, so you can meal prep them in advance and eat them all throughout the week. So I hope that you guys enjoy this recipe, and all of the measurements are going to be listed in the description box. So we're gonna start this recipe by getting all of our wet ingredients mixed together in a bowl. So I like to start with the coconut oil first, and I just put a bunch in a liquid measuring cup, melt in the microwave, and we want 1/3 of a cup of coconut oil. So then we're gonna just set that off to the side, let it cool for a second, and then we're going to crack an egg into our bowl. And then what I like to do is just go ahead and start whisking that, and then while whisking the egg, slowly pour in the coconut oil, and this kind of helps to prevent the egg from cooking because, again, we just heated up the coconut oil, so we don't want the egg to cook. And then once you're done adding that in, we're gonna add in the honey. A huge reason why I love to do the coconut oil first is that because it greases the liquid measuring cup and it makes the measuring and getting the honey out of the liquid measuring cup so much easier. Next, we're going to add in some molasses, which definitely gave me a little struggle, I'm not gonna lie.
Be careful when you open the bottle for the first time. Take two.
So I had opened up a brand new jar of molasses and it just was not cooperating. So anyways, I just kind of eyeballed about 1/8 of a cup, but if you really wanna measure it, it's about 4 tablespoons. And then go ahead and just pour that beautiful, thick goodness right on in there. And then you're going to add in a teaspoon of some vanilla extract. I usually just eyeball that because a little more does not sound that bad to me. So we're good. And then this is the consistency and the look that you are aiming for. And this is what it should look like once you are done putting it all together. And then what we're going to do is in the exact same bowl, we're gonna add in all of our dry ingredients. So you're going to add in 1 3/4 cup of whole wheat flour, and don't mix it, just like leave it all there and we'll mix it later. And then you're gonna add in 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of some ground ginger. Then you're gonna add in 1 teaspoon of some ground cinnamon. I love cinnamon. Most recipes always call for 1/2 teaspoon, but I always up it because I just love it so much. 1/4 teaspoon of allspice, 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves, 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and then we're going to finish it off with a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. This was kind of dangerous. I try not to measure the salt right over the bowl, but I guess I was feeling daring that day when I did it. I usually measured it off to the side just in case there's a mess up, but there you go. Thankfully, it all worked out well. All right, so now you're just gonna take a spatula and you're going to gently mix it all together. The reason that I said don't mix it after each dry ingredient added into the bowl is because usually with most recipes, you're going to have 1 bowl for the wet ingredients, 1 bowl for the dry ingredients, but I like to just, help myself out, take a little bit of a shortcut. I'm busy and cleanup is not my favorite part of like cooking and baking. So if I can help myself out in that area, I'm going to. And I found that this really works. So, but the thing is that you don't want to over mix the dough because then it can become tough. So I have found that if you just add all your dry ingredients in and then mix it at the end, it works out perfectly well. All right, and then this is optional, but I love raisins in these cookies. I think it just adds the best sweet, chewy texture and flavor into these cookies. So I added in about 1/2 cup of raisins, and then what you want to do is grab a wooden spoon. I found it was way easier with a wooden spoon over the spatula to mix the raisins into the dough because the dough is pretty thick, and this is what it should look like once you are all done. now we are going to arrange our cookies onto our cookie sheet. Now, there are 2 different ways that you can prepare these cookies in the way that they look. So you can grab an ice cream scooper and go ahead and basically just get like a ball of the dough, roll it around in your hands, and then place it on the cookie sheet. And then you can use the palm of your hand to kind of flatten it just a little bit so that it's, all level. And then you can kind of smooth it out with your fingers. And you can make a beautiful tray of cookies this way. And it's also the most simple way of making these cookies in terms of like time and effort and everything. But if you are looking to do something a little extra special for the holiday season, and you want to make use like a cookie cutter and make, different shaped cookies, especially because of the gingerbread, then you can totally do that with this dough. So go ahead and grab the flour, and we're going to prepare the surface where we're gonna roll it out. So you wanna put some flour on there, make sure you get it on your hands, and then using your hands, get the dough and form it into a ball shape, just like one big ball. And you're gonna roll that around in the flour. And then you're going to go ahead and grab a rolling pin, and you're going to flour the rolling pin as well. The reason that we are putting flour on the cutting board, we're putting it on our hands, the rolling pin, the dough, like everything, is to prevent it from sticking, and it's gonna make your life so much easier and so much less hassle in forming really cute cookie shapes because it won't stick. So whenever you're rolling it out and you kind of see the dough kind of pulling back at you, or it's sticking to the rolling pin, that's just a sign that you need to add more flour to the rolling pin or to the cutting board or to your hands. So you're gonna have to kind of continuously add flour depending on how it is. And if that happens, like you just saw right there, and it really pulls back and kind of breaks up, don't worry, don't panic, it's okay. This dough is really easy to form back together. So just give it a little TLC, pat it back together, and then if you need, just keep adding flour to that rolling pin or the dough or whatnot, your hands, and just keep rolling it out. In terms of thickness, I think that these cookies taste really good, pretty thick. So I actually like to keep them more on the thicker side. But if you want to make them thinner, by all means, go ahead and just keep rolling out the dough until you get that desired thickness that you like. Okay, so now I'm just gonna use 2 different cookie cutters. I have a little gingerbread person, and I have a little Christmas tree. And what you wanna do is you wanna flour, stick it in a little bit of flour. That's gonna help prevent the cookie cutter from sticking to the dough, so you can actually get the cookie out of the cookie cutter and doesn't stick and break apart and all that stuff, because that's definitely happened to me before. And then what you're going to do is place it on the dough. And when you're doing this, essentially what you wanna do is kind of use up the most amount of dough that you have, because as you can see, you're gonna get little scraps of pieces left over. And at the very end, when we're kind of out of enough dough to where we could use a cookie cutter, we're gonna roll that back together and re-roll it out and all of that. So, because there's no waste here, and we'll get extra cookies. So you wanna kind of be cognizant of that and try to go as close to either the edge or the other spot where you just got the cookie from, so that you can get maximize your efforts here on getting the most amount of cookies without having to put it back in a ball and re-rolling it out again. All right, so when you put the cookie cutter on the dough, you're gonna just apply some force and get it down there, and then kind of give it a little bit of a wiggle or a little bit of a shake, I guess, or something, because it's gonna help you get the cookie out. And then just remove the little pieces that surround it and put it on your cookie sheet. I found it was easy to use the spatula to help me do that. And then I also wanted to say that because I included raisins in this cookie dough, some of the cookie cutters kind of ran right into the raisin when I applied pressure down to actually form the cookie shape. But to me, that's fine. I just kind of was a little bit extra careful when I was trying to remove the cookie, from the cookie cutter and all of that. But, this is for me, friends and family. I really didn't care if they were 100% perfect. They taste amazing, and they were really fun, and it's more about the experience, than anything else. So just wanted to say that. And as you can see here, I have a little gingerbread person, and how cute is that? now that all of the cookies are on the cookie sheet, right before I place them in the oven, I just wanted to put on a little decoration, so I put on some mini chocolate chips. I'm not a huge fan of icing, so I prefer the chocolate chips. And then I baked them in the oven at 350 degrees for 8 minutes, and this is what they looked like when they came out. You guys, they are done and they look so good. So I'm gonna eat one of the round ones. It's perfectly spiced. It's nice and soft. The chocolate adds a nice little sweet touch along with the raisins that are nice and chewy. Truly the perfect soft ginger molasses cookie. All right, so that is how you make my perfectly spiced soft ginger molasses cookies. I hope that you enjoyed this video and give this recipe a try. And as I mentioned in my last video, I have a brand new series coming to my channel starting January 1st, and it is 60 days of weight loss without dieting. Restrictive diets are not a healthy way to lose weight and improve your health, and I will teach you guys why that is, and also how to make healthier food choices and improve your daily habits. So make sure that you are subscribed to my channel and turn on your notification bell so that you can follow along. So that's all I have for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember that the time is now to get well, be well, and stay well. I will see you in the next video. Bye!